not ready for this! Season 6 trailer of the 9 Realms is now dropped. Ish. Not really. It's unlisted on YouTube, but on the DreamWorks page, so great marketing, guys. Haven't even been able to finish my Season 5 review yet, but I don't know, whatever. It'll come out this weekend anyway. Let's just get on with this.
You ever wonder how smart dragons are? Like, definitely smarter than dogs. Smarter than some people.
Smarter than you.
That is true.
Very funny.
Very much.
The dragons are back.
This has gotten totally out of control.
It's a dragon infestation!
And the adventure
Look at this place. Everything's giant.
is bigger than ever.
How is that possible?
Epic!
I think we have a problem.
I'm the king of dragons.
Let's do this, riders.
It's over, Buzzsaw.
Is that the ship of fire?
DreamWorks Dragons: The Nine Realms.
I instantly regret this.
It's times like these when I remember why humanity is doomed.
Yes. Humanity is completely doomed from this show. Thanks. 15th of June. Okay, so that's half a month away. Gives me time. I'm going to try and get the not titled class video out before the review of this comes out, so lucky you. So they're going back into the nature realm, which is good. This looks like a season 5.5. They only spent like 2 episodes in the nature realm, so I guess they're spending more in here, which is fine. So we actually have like dragons in the overworld now, and it kind of seems like they're naturally there, which I was a bit worried about. This is a comment that I bring up in my season 5 review, which I don't really want to go into too much here, but I'm not very impressed at all. The Deadly Nether, which I like the colours actually. That's cool colours, I guess. Interesting. Just colours we haven't really seen, which makes sense, and also it fits like the nature realm, which is a dumb name anyway. So far, it looked like they haven't messed it up, in terms of the Fire Blast at least. So, I don't know how like the reveal of the dragons coming out to the people have all of a sudden released a bunch of terrible terrors on the overworld, unless the writers put them there, but it's a bit dumb. I thought you were supposed to be protecting them, not let them just out, but okay, whatever. Because they could have just came out on their own this whole time, but alright, sure. Oh, actually. Okay, I mean, it's nice to see some of their own dragons more often, like that one, which I cannot be fucked to know the name of. Because there's a bit of a weird trend is where they just show the dragon the once in the one episode and then like never really again, apart from like Magma Breather. So it's nice to sort of continue them on, which is good to see. Although some dragons, especially the ones at the beginning, I'm glad we never see again. So yes, it's nice to see these a bit more frequently, because you know we can see more of them and see more how they act and behave and stuff like that. Why is there vine tails here? But sure, I mean, again, nice to see them more of them. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, so that's the shellfire and that weird alligator thing has a suction grabbed, whatever that is. That looks like a submarine. It looks like you just stole the asset from Race to the Edge, but then repainted it. I cannot tell whose that is. I have no idea who's going into these deep waters. I mean, that's kind of interesting. Massive deep ocean, which... oh, it's cool.
Look at this place.
That's just dumb. I mean, I keep on saying this, but it's just so uninspired. Like, honestly, it's just like the most generic stuff. I've seen this all over the place. It literally just looked like... this is literally just Grounded, the video game. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. They shrunken down into a garden landscape. Just a bit boring, you know. I swear that's like a thing in Crudes as well. A bit more creativity would be nice. Death Gripper. Well, I have to say, why is the Death Gripper here? The Death Gripper does not look like it belongs into a landscape like this. First of all. But also, interesting. On one hand, I'm like, oh, cool, we get to see more of these Death Grippers, because we never really get to see much of them in the third film, because they just didn't really have time to really expand upon what they can do. Cool. Great. I'm up for that. But I do get this weird sense of dread, because every time I see an original dragon, they tend to just ruin it, in a certain sense. They keep on just making, like, weird changes, and it just makes them just worse. Space Stingers in the last season. You'll see, you'll see. Again, it's weird. I'm like, excited because it's like, oh, I get to see more of these dragons. On the other hand, I'm like, do they have enough knowledge to appropriate them properly, I guess? I don't know. That's not the right word. I mean, it's just a very small thing, right? But John Telligan tweeted at Audrey, they'll go for Mean Girls back and forth, whatever. Funny, but that's not the main point. He says, I can't cut through this irony like a typhoon-meringue. Now, this could just be a small mistake on his end, which, sure, typhoon-meringue, Tim and Jack, they kind of look very similar. But as someone who, you know, is a fan of your products, it does sort of give the impression like it doesn't really sound like you know what you're doing. That sounds harsh, but like that's a small thing that surely the showrunner or like the producer of the show should know, especially working on the previous series as well. Again, it's probably just a small mistake and I'm reading too much into it, but these tiny mistakes build up within the show themselves, within like these interactions on Twitter, on outside. Kind of sounds like they don't know what they're doing, even though they're going to treat the franchise with the respect going forward. This doesn't get my hopes up. It just, how something that's somewhat relatively simple, how do you not know that? You know, again, it's just sort of a public forum, and every time you post something publicly, you are presenting that to your fan base, even if it's like a small tweet replying to people on Twitter. It still sort of counts. Sounds like you need a dragon consultant. I'll be a dragon consultant. I don't know everything about these guys because it's quite literally my job. I mean, what is that? Again, something out of Grounded or something. It looks like a giant worm. I mean, it's interesting because it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot bigger dragons. I guess that's the theme of this season. Massive dragons. Doesn't look like a dragon for us to train your dragon. That looks like a character from a video game. I don't know, it's hard to see from this angle. Again, it's hard to get impressions of stuff because we haven't seen it within the world, within the franchise. Because again, I wasn't that big a fond of the Snifflehide until I actually saw it in the episode. I mean, I do like it, but it's just, it doesn't look like a How to Train Dragon.
Never.
What? Again, like this, a small thing. How do they mess up like a cry of dragons? They always do that and it really annoys me. It sounds like they mixed two dragon cries there. The Deadly Nada and something else, which again isn't just what a Deadly Nada sounds like. It just sounds like what a Deadly Nada sounds like. Just use the stock sounds of that. Oh. Again, this might be trailer, but in the show, if they use that noise, I'm going to be very angry. Not what a Deadly Nada sounds like. Again, these small little, like, do you know what you're doing? And also, it's just spikes going to be out permanently. Every shot we've seen of it in the trailer, their spikes are out because they do tend to be relaxed and only spike out when they attack. Maybe they're just trying to be threatening. I'll hold any outright opinions or anything on that. That one looks cool. I kind of like the crocodile-y looking dragon. Their own dragons, sure, cool. Even then they mess up their own cries again. Far better from the previous seasons. DreamWorks, why?
I'm the king of dragons.
I mean, that's just cringe. It's just cringe. Is Buzzsaw going to do something this season? I don't know. He sounds like he's going to be a little bit more involved. Is Minari going to do something as well? Hopefully. Yeah, Shellfire. That's cool. Oh, he has a symbol on his back. Yeah, whatever. Narratively, I think it's kind of interesting where they're going to go from here, though, because they sort of mostly wrapped up everything that they were gonna do, all the continuing story points from the beginning. Like, obviously, we found Thunder's family. We know the connection with Tom and Hiccup, which we all know from the beginning of the trailer, to be honest. You know, these overarching sort of story beats have sort of all ended, or now everyone knows about the dragons. It's kind of like, feels like they're very limited to where they could go. It could either open up a lot more or kind of close off a lot more. Like, it feels like they'll waste time and do any old stick just to carry on the show, even though narratively it's not pushing forward, you know? And I feel like they're going to do that rather than open up. It depends. Because again, Buzzsaw Minari hasn't really done anything, if you think about it. Hopefully they actually do stuff this time and actually contribute to like the main storyline or plot. But their overarching stories are sort of ended, so I feel like a lot of this is just going to be more filler and filler and filler till like the final bit. Unless, again, they open it up more and, you know, just, it's hard to describe it without sounding very vague. More of those points, I think, I will cover more in the review of this. People were saying that it's going to be the last season, but it kind of looks of it, I don't think it will. Interesting. I doubt there'll be much more seasons to go anyway. This might be a couple of year project. Maybe up to season 8? It's hard to see now because we all knew what was coming out, you know, coming up in terms of overarching stories, but we sort of hit them all now. We don't know how much longer this show will last. And this is also 8 episodes long. I'm not looking forward to that. That's just going to be a lot of time. I guess they had a bit of an extra gap between 4 and 5, so I guess that's what they use their time on. Thanks. More content for you, more work for me. Yay! Oh. But anyway, I better wrap this up, otherwise it's going to be a 10-hour long video. Bye-bye.